Hey, thanks for joining me again today for episode 6 of Business in the Bedroom, a bootstrapper's guide to doing it. I'm your host, Jemmy Legagneur, and today I'm going to talk to you about the pain of having to say things like, I can't come hang, I have to update my website. This episode is brought to you by Flintstone Media. Listen in and let's do this. So for this episode, I really want to talk to you about the reality of what you're diving into. Because if you're like me, you are self-funded. And that's a kind way of saying you're broke and building a business on a shoestring budget. Shout out to the next episode, The Brokest Days of Your Life. Woo woo. And being self-funded means that you really have no choice but to learn to do a lot yourself. And then to take care of a lot yourself. And all of that takes time. Your precious time that you already seem to never have enough of, I'm sure. Time that you could be using to do other regular life things like, sleeping, shopping, relaxing, or other things, which is why I almost called this episode To Get Laid or To Get Paid, Defining Priorities. I changed my mind. So first of all, there are some creative ways to multitask. I became a pro at it in college. As an example, I signed up to tutor classes that I knew no one would sign up to get help for, and that I'd always be sitting there the entire time doing nothing. Why? So that I could get paid while I did my own work. And another job in the computer lab during college. Yeah, I had that exact same reason. Also in EMT, when I was in college, I was an EMT and I would bring my books with me to get work done in the back of the ambulance during downtime, guys, not like when we were rushing a patient to the hospital. But if we were sitting there on a slow night, I would be getting my work done. So I got a lot of practice in college and in my formative years of how to multitask in every situation. When Jordan was a baby, of course, I fed him all sorts of ways while I was working. Like, it had to get done. It was getting done. Well, nowadays, I bring my entire laptop with me to the salon when I get my dreadlocks groomed, and I'll sit under that dryer with my laptop and I'm working. They always know to put me in the dryer that's next to the outlet so I can plug my computer lip. Like, I get really, really creative. So what is your craziest multitasking story? I would love to hear it. Email me at Jemmy, Jaime at flintstonemedia.com and just tell me the craziest way that you've multitasked. I would love to hear about it. But multitasking between work and your social life isn't always much of an option. Sometimes you just have to work. And now that you're a Jack or Jill of all trades who's learned how to handle everything to save money, since between now and listening to the last episode, I'm sure you've already learned how to do everything, right? Well, now you're doing everything and you have no time. I know, I get it. For the first 2 years of Flintstone Media, I hardly ever saw the light of day. Between raising a young son and raising a business, I was a busy girl. So I had no social life for a long time, and it was super tricky. In fact, this only just became a non-issue right in time for me to be locked up all by myself again due to quarantine. Yay! But through that one-woman show phase of Flintstone Media, I was always trying to figure out how, beyond the singular focus of my main goal, what are the signs that too much of my life overall was being focused on that main goal? Did I have too much tunnel vision? And I often had this question because of the incredible amount of guilt that I felt at never seeing anybody. It was like, even if I had the money to go out, I don't have the time. Even if I had the time, I know when I'm out there, I'm just going to be obsessively thinking about all the stuff I'd need to be taken care of. I was a lost cause. Why? Because we are a certain breed, my dreamer friend. We just are. And it boils down to learning to define your priorities. So remember all the way back when on episode 1, I asked you to define your why? Well, your why is going to keep coming up on this show. So if you haven't started to do that yet, I really can't stress enough just how important that truly, truly is. Because every choice and decision you make between using your time to do something to build your business or to do something else, anything else, all boils down to your priorities, which are tied to your why. I can't answer it for you, right? You have to, which is, again, it has to come from you. Whether you should stay home from that party instead of working on your manuscript, I can't tell you whether you should do that. Whether you should meet your old coworker friends at a happy hour, or if you should instead work out the kinks on your online store, I can't tell you whether or not you should do that. Your why can, you can. Only you can make that decision. And we'll get into more about some of the things you really need to consider when making those decisions when we get into the last episode of this launch, episode 8, self-care and success. But for now, let's just assume that you have made a decision to stay back from whatever else you could be doing with family or friends, and instead, you're working on your business. So how do you get other people to understand that? And will they ever understand that? Well, first of all, accept that you're the weird one. You just are. And not accept, okay? Accept that you are the weird one. But weird is a good thing. As I've said, we are a certain breed, a breed full of dreams and ambitions, and all of that fuel makes us crazy and gives us as much life as the air we breathe. We have a destiny and a determination to get there. There's an ambition in you that other people will not understand. They will think it is weird that you would rather update your website with photos of your latest art than to head out to the bar. But that's okay. Honestly, one thing I learned in these last years is that jumping off that cliff to build a business is really similar to other major life events when you're the only one in your circle who's doing it. Getting a divorce, having a kid, going through recovery, and getting sober. Like when you're the only one who's doing it, it can feel very isolating. Those people by your side through it, and at the end of it though, those are the ones who love and support you, not because of the glitz and glamour of the pedestal that you're trying to climb up on, but because they love and support you. So the ones that are most understanding of what you're trying to do are the ones that you really need to worry about. As a side note example, I knew someone once who was recovering from alcohol addiction. He used to go out and party all the time. Well, one year for his birthday, he just wanted to go out and have a nice, fun, much quieter lunch for his birthday with his friends. It was actually going to be the first time that I was meeting some of these friends, so I was really excited to meet them. Well, wouldn't you know that one of his friends gifted my alcohol addiction recovering friend for his birthday a bottle of vodka. Seriously. Some people are just never going to get the life change you're going for. Some people only had you in their lives for a certain track. And now that you've found a new set of rails, they are no longer on board. And that is okay. The rest should already be in the rearview mirror of your mind. They can't see the road to greatness you're on anyway. I have had to cancel so many plans over the years with my friends. So many times. Sometimes I knew enough, like early enough, that I was able to say, no, I'm not going to be able to make it to that. Thank you for inviting me. It's just not going to happen. I apologize. Sometimes I made plans and just had to cancel last minute. So I've had to cancel plans with my friends so many times over the years. when building Flintstone Media because I had to meet a deadline for a client or something, right? And sometimes my friends would understand and sometimes they didn't. But the ones who were understanding and supportive, like Vivi, who I've mentioned before, always was ready with her, "You're doing it," shout of enthusiasm. Well, they're the ones who were in my life for me. And not because I was the girl they could get to tag along with them to the bar. It's about choices. It's about priorities and the people who recognize why you're making those choices and why you set the priorities the way that you have are the people who are going to support you no matter what. And it's remembering your why and making those choices based on it every time that's going to get you to your success. So how do you handle it if your friends don't understand it? Now, you're hearing this from a woman who is the queen of feeling guilty. Like, I am the worst at laying a guilt trip down on my damn self. I have to constantly try to remind myself that I'm the only one who's probably upset or worried about whatever, right? I'm the only one who's feeling guilty because I didn't go to the party or I didn't make it to dinner or whatever. I have to constantly try to convince myself that no one else is mad at me. And when that doesn't work, I remind myself, if I still think that they are mad at me, I just remind myself, they don't get it because of their own hangups. And this is actually true. I know I'm saying it kind of facetiously, but it's true. When someone in your life gets upset with you because you have to cancel plans because you're trying to instead make a choice that betters yourself, it's because of their own hangups. Maybe they're not as ambitious as you. Maybe they wish they were. Maybe they aren't ambitious at all and they just would never get it. Either way, that's what it is. So you got to remember, either someone's not going to get it because they're all about themselves and they're not really there for you and to support you in a truly pure friendship way, in loving way, or they are upset because they wish it was them, right? But whatever the reason is, you have set your why, you have set your priority, and you have made your choice. So give yourself relief from the guilt. No one is trying to put that on you but you. And if someone else is trying to put it on you, they can go scratch, okay? Because it can be coming from a million different places, like jealousy or their own loneliness or whatever. But at the end of the day, remember, no one is paying your bills but you. No one is going to make it towards your goals and get you there but you. No one is laying it all on the line but you. So not to sound harsh, but forget all that damn guilt. And again, I will dive a lot deeper into the thought process of how to figure out if the sacrifices are worth it beyond the considerations of any guilt, first of all, right? But also beyond the considerations of your why, even. There's a lot of other stuff to take into account. And I'll be diving into that in episode 8. It's the last episode of this initial set of launch episodes. It's going to be all dealing with balancing self-care and success. Now that I've laid a lot on your plate as to what to do and a whole lot of calls to action, we also need to remember to take into account our self-care. So keep the show rolling for that episode when it drops with episode 7 next Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I'm assuming you are listening to this because you're either running a business in your bedroom or you're thinking about running a business out of your bedroom. Well, I want to hear from you. So email me about your business and send me your questions at Jemmy, Jaime, at flintstonemedia.com. Then join the conversation by looking up Dreamers Become Doers on Facebook. It's a really fun group and we celebrate each other's milestones in there. So join up. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter too as Flintstone Media. And for show notes and details on today's episode and to leave me a voice message that can be played on the show, head to bizinthebedroom.com. That's right, your voice could be heard right here. And remember to hit it hard, keep the lights on.
Flintstone Media has been the digital messaging bedrock of several brands and businesses, serving as a highly resourceful podcast production house and consultancy firm for over 6 years. Work with a leader in the industry and add a new podcast to your brand's content offerings. From show development and setup through recording and distribution, Jemmy will lend her experience launching dozens of podcasts and producing over 1,000 episodes, making creating your show a simple and easy turnkey process for you. Visit flintstonemedia.com for podcast samples. That's flintstonemedia.com.